Hey, you're listening to the All In Networker podcast. My name is Dan McCabe, and today I'm on day 45 of All In 490, where we're going to talk about a reflection of my why. And we look at this as we are on our journey. We have to keep going back to it. We don't just talk about the why, we also talk about the who, right? So I'm going to talk about mine. I'm going to talk about my situation. We're going to dive a little deeper into why we do this, but it's so important because it keeps us motivated when we're feeling down. So somebody's going to need to hear this one today. Let's go. Hey, what's up? This is Dan, and welcome to the All In Networker podcast. So, day 45. You know, it's kind of that consistent theme where I keep being in awe of the All In for 90 workbook, and that sounds a little cheesy because I wrote the workbook, but I keep being in awe of it because I find pages like this, and they're just striking me on the right day. And at the end of the day, it's probably because when I originally put it together, I was going through the exact same emotions, the exact same trials, tribulations, and I just happened to put them down in order in the book, and it's consistent. And I've seen this with a lot of different people. I've run big groups of people going through the All In for 90, and they see days like today where we are 45 days in, just shy of 6 weeks. My math right there, 7 weeks, just shy of 7 weeks. And I hear the comments like, man, I needed that right now. And they need that reset button because I see most people drop off of All In for 90 probably around days 15 to 20 because they run out of close contacts to talk to, and all of a sudden they get uncomfortable. They got hit over the head one too many times. They couldn't handle the rejections. Usually by the time people get here, they're committed and they're going through the motions, if nothing else. There's a handful of people that are thriving and doing it all out. But a lot of times people are here and they're committed internally and they know they need to get through it. They're going through the motions, but they aren't really giving it their all, even if they say they are, because they're just feeling down. It's easy to feel down. At this point, you're thriving, or at this point, you're going through and you're still taking some lumps. And when you take 6-7 weeks of lumps, it gets hard. And it's easy to get down on yourself, which is why we have these reflection of your why days that come up on a very regular basis. So, it's really because we need to get back there. Your why is your greatest motivator. When you go back and think about it, the reasons you wanted to do this 6-7 weeks ago are the same as the reasons you want to do it now. And sometimes it just needs to be a slap in the face of, yes, I said I am doing this because I want to be able to take care of my parents. I want to see my kids more. I want to be able to retire my spouse, whatever your why is. And, within the workbook, when we have people fill out the why page describing their why, underneath that, we also have a section that says, who are you doing this for? So you very specifically write out names of people that deserve you to put in 100% effort during this challenge, during this run. People that deserve for you to get the results that you are committed to getting for yourself. And for me, I always found that to be more powerful. The why is powerful and the why helps a lot. But when I look down at who and I look down at those people that I wrote down on that page, that's what keeps me going. As hard as it can be sometimes, that's always like the ultimate trigger. It is, just that extra gasoline that I need to really get the fire relit and going again. So my why, I've talked about this a number of times. I've always summed it up in kind of just one phrase, that is, I want to coach baseball. It really has nothing to do with coaching baseball, even though I do love coaching baseball. I still coach my son's 12-year-old team now, and I've got a little 4-year-old who will be playing t-ball this summer, and I'm sure I'll be coaching him here soon enough. But I always use that as a metaphor because it wasn't just that I want to coach baseball. It's that I want to have the financial and time freedom to do whatever the heck I want to do. And for me, I want to be able to do those things and be there for my kids and my family. And it can be a grind sometimes. And sometimes as entrepreneurs, we feel like we're making a lot of sacrifices in order to make that happen. But that's always been my driving force since my 12-year-old son was 1 year old. That's been my why, is to make sure I always have that time. And since then, I've had great years. I've had years that have been a little bit harder. I've gone back and forth, certainly, but I've always made sure I've had time for that. I've coached his baseball teams now. This will be the 4th year running. And I've made sure to take, aside from last year, the year of COVID was probably the first year in a while we hadn't done it. But the years leading up to that, I had taken roughly 10 weeks of vacation a year, including one really big 3-week road trip with them during the summers, and just done really big things, fun things, and creating as many memories as possible, which was something that we talked about a couple days ago when I was talking about the hook story off, for example, and talking about how important it is to go out there and create memories. And I was talking about one story that I use all the time with my grandma on the Great Wall of China and creating that memory. I want to do that same thing with my kids. I want to have a vault full of memories and stories of things that I did with my kids, not just for me to remember as I get older, but for them to remember as they get older. I am pretty sure that they are going to find that much more valuable, those memories more valuable when they get older than the latest PS5 that comes out or the newest iPad, iWatch, whatever. So, in case anybody's wondering, we limit our kids' technology pretty good. I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing, but we limit it. And I made my 12-year-old son, who did get a phone recently because we needed one to get a hold of him sometimes, one of the first things he did was downloaded the different social media accounts, and I made him delete all those things. There's no way those things are hanging around their phones here over the next 6 years. I told him when he's 18 or when he's out of high school, he can go get a Facebook account or an Instagram account, but no reason to mess around with that crap until then. Anyways, all right, so my why. My why is very family oriented. I know a lot of other people's are as well. We actually did something pretty similar in a higher level mastermind group that I'm a part of that I don't run this past week as well. And I'm going to take a quick look at that here because he had a really good way of going about it. And he was talking about what you have to have in order to do the things you want to do and be the person you want to be. And I found the B to be incredibly powerful too. And just consider this bonus training. But we had to write down, different things that we wanted to have, different things we wanted to do in our lives, and who did we want to be? We wanted to be a great dad. We wanted to be a loving spouse. We wanted to be a thoughtful friend. I wanted to be somebody that is clear on my intentions, clear on my path, on my journey. I wanted to be energetic because if I'm energetic, it means my health and my fitness are in order. So I wrote down all those things. I thought it was a really good exercise, and it might be one for some bonus training for you guys to do as well. And then, one of the things I liked he did at the end is he had us go through each column again. Well, first he had us circle 3 throughout any of the columns. Like, what are the 3 things you will not compromise and you have to have? Do, or be. And so I circled the 3 on each one. And then he had us go through each column again and say one that we absolutely have and we will not give up, and what's one we will give up. The have section was very dream oriented, like in a perfect world, what are all the things that you would have? And I listed out a bunch of those things. But one of the things, they're not things you have to have, things you want to have. One of the things I want to have in my life as a big baseball fan is I've always wanted a Mickey Mantle rookie card. And some people are hearing that and they're, wow, those are millions of dollars. Well, no, not always. Now they are, because the card market's so insane. I had an opportunity to buy, not the fancy 52 Topps one, if people know what that one is. That one goes for a lot of money. But I had an opportunity to buy the 51 Bowman one in good condition 3 years ago for $7,000, and I didn't do it. That's a very achievable thing, but now that card is worth $100,000, which I should have probably done that. But is it possible to have? Yeah, it's something. But is it something I need to have? No. It was the first thing I crossed off. The things I needed to have all had to do, and if you look through my entire list, all had to do with family and things I wasn't willing to give up on. So, in those things with the family, it was things like I put on here that I wanted a brand new fancy pop-up camper. I don't want an RV. I don't want any other kind of travel trailer. Like we have a nice pop-up camper right now, and I love it, and we have a blast in it. And for some reason, I put on there I wanted a super fancy badass one, but I didn't circle that as something that I must have, but it's those kinds of things that I kept because they allow me to do the things I want to do with my family, to be the person I want to be, create the memories I want to create. So that's why something like that was important. The baseball card, it's not really important. It's just kind of cool and would look really cool on my shelf. So anyways, all right. Well, I appreciate you guys as always, and work on your why. Always come back to it. Write out your who. Make sure you come back to that. Look at that list. It will help you. It'll motivate you on days that you're feeling down. And if there's anything I can do for you, you can always reach out to me. I leave it here at the end of every podcast. Go over to LinkedIn, send me a message. That's the only place where I check my messages myself. I check them every single morning, pretty early. And then if you want to take advantage of any of the All In Networker trainings, you can go to allinnetworker.com and check out some of the stuff there. But if there's anything I can do for you guys, please just feel free to reach out anytime. I'm here to serve the community. So, all right, we'll talk to you guys soon. Thanks a lot. And until next time, we'll see you then. Bye-bye.